What's up guys, it's Eric from Rare Candy and today we're back with another Guardians Rising deck profile for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Alolan Ninetales GX. This is actually the same list that Marcus from the channel played in our testing rounds video, so if you guys want to check that out and see how this deck looks in action, I'll be sure to put a link to that as well. And as usual, if you guys aren't familiar with these testing rounds videos that we've done, we usually are playing kind of rough, unrefined lists in them. So there might be things in here that we can change or improve. So just something to keep in mind as we're looking at this deck. But yeah, Alolan Ninetales GX, definitely a really cool card from Guardians Rising. So let's see what it does. So first of all, since this is a Ninetales deck, we're going to be playing 4 of the Alolan Vulpix. Pretty cool card. The first attack on it is actually pretty solid. For a whopping 0 energy, you get to search your deck for any 2 Pokemon and put them into your hand. So this is always a good type of attack to have on your early, like, low HP basics. You know, we've seen in the case of Greninja, Frogadier kind of makes that deck what it is. This obviously is not as powerful as that, but nevertheless, if you start with this Vulpix, it's definitely a really solid attack to use in the early turns as you're powering up your board. So that's really the main thing that's worth noting about it. And we're playing 4 just to increase our chances of starting with it, but we're only going to be playing 3 of the new Alolan Ninetales GX. So it's a new Stage 1, 210 hit points, which is great, 1 retreat cost, which is fine, and also has a metal weakness, which is amazing right now, because there's really not too many metal attackers that are popular. You know, sometimes you'll run into like a Solgaleo Lurantis deck, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of metal that's being played right now. So this is good because not only do you hit Volcanion for weakness, but you actually can't be hit for weakness by things like Lurantis and Decidueye, which are quite popular. So definitely good stats on this thing. But yeah, so let's check out Ninetales' attacks. First attack is Ice Blast for just the DCE, or in the case of 2 waters in this list. You get to do 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, so that means active or on the bench. So that's kind of solid. But the main attack of the deck is going to be Blizzard Edge for 2 water and a colorless. Does 160, and you discard 2 energy to use the attack. And then Ice Path GX for just 2 colorless energy or 2 water, like I was saying. You get to move all damage counters on Ninetales onto your opponent's active. So I think all 3 of these attacks are great. And one thing I like about Ninetales a lot is that while you may argue, well, why not just play Lapras? It's a basic, it hits for 1 more. Or, you know, 100, not 1 more, but you don't have to discard your energy whenever you do it, etc. I love Ninetales because it's such a versatile attacker. You have a wide array of different offensive options. So if someone's not going to knock out this Ninetales in 1 hit, you have all sorts of ways to deal with your opponent's board state. So let's say you do Blizzard Edge for 160, or even if you have a Choice Band, which we do play in this list, you'll be able to do 190. Let's say you don't knock them out for some reason. Well, you can always use Ice Blade to finish them off, or if your opponent, you know, let's just say swings on you for 100 damage, just for the sake of argument. Well, you can use Ice Path GX to not only heal your Ninetales, but also move all that damage onto your opponent's active. So there's just a whole lot of different options and a whole lot of different plays that you can make with Ninetales, and that's why I like this as a card. But that's the main guy the deck's going to be built around, but we're also going to be playing 1 Glaceon EX. So we're mainly playing it for its Crystal Ray attack for a water and double colorless. Does 70, and during your opponent's next turn, Glaceon cannot be damaged by your opponent's evolution Pokemon. So one thing that is bad about this deck is it loses quite hard, I think, to Mega Rayquaza. So I wanted to have some sort of tech. You could maybe even play Regice if you wanted to, but I was like, let's just play Glaceon. That'll be fine for now. Just as a tech to deal with Mega Ray potentially. But it's just a decent backup attacker, and sometimes it can just steal you a game if you run into like an all evolution deck. Okay, and then we're also going to be playing 2 Manaphy EX, mainly for this Aqua Tube ability. Each of your Pokemon with water energy has no retreat cost. And, well, you might be saying, well, Ninetales already has just a 1 retreat cost, so why would you waste the deck space, or bench space even as well, on Manaphy? And that's mainly really because, you know, Ninetales already has to discard energy to attack. I really don't want to discard another energy to retreat as well. And so the combo we're going to be trying to do in this deck is actually with Wishiwashi. So Wishiwashi has this Cowardice ability. Once during your turn, you may return Wishiwashi and Was it all cards attached to it? I forget. Okay, you do have to discard all cards attached to it, but you get to return Wishiwashi to your hand. And you can't use the ability the turn this card was played down. But the reason we're playing this and Manaphy is because we're going to attack with Ninetales, discard our energy, free retreat on our next turn into a Wishiwashi, use the new Aqua Patch to power back up our Ninetales, and use Wishiwashi to return to our hand in order to be able to promote Ninetales yet again. That's kind of the combo we're going for here. But yes, that's why we're playing the Manaphy Wishiwashi combo over something maybe like Float Stones or traditional switching cards. But then just to round out the rest of the Pokemon line, we're just playing 2 Shaymin EX. Pretty straightforward for the setup ability, draw until you have 6. So moving on to our supporter cards, we're playing 4 Professor Sycamore, discard your hand, draw 7, and 3 N. Each player shuffles their hand in their deck and draws equal to the amount of prize cards that they have left. Pretty standard for most decks. 2 Lysandre just to switch our opponent's active and choose what we want to take knockouts on. Playing 1 Professor Kukui, draw 2 cards, and during your turn, your Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active. So this is mainly just to help our Ninetales hit for, kind of like the magic numbers in terms of damage output. So what I mean by that is, let's say we have a Ninetales out and we don't have a choice band yet. We can play Professor Kukui to do Blizzard Edge to do 180 instead of 160. And that actually knocks out a lot of non-Fighting Fury belted EXs and GXs. So that's kind of the main reason we're playing this Kukui. And then just 1 Hex Maniac for the last of our supporters, just to shut off shut off abilities until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this is mainly going to be in here to deal with things like Vileplume, for example, which is very popular at the time of filming. Okay, so next up we have 4 versus Seeker, just to reuse all those different supporters we just mentioned. 3 Trainer's Mail. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You get a trainer card you find there. Pretty standard staple card. 4 Ultra Ball. Discard 2 cards from your hand and search your deck for any Pokemon. So this is good because we can throw our water energy in the discard to use with Aqua Patch, which we'll get to in a minute, and just get any Pokemon out of our deck. But we're still also playing 2 Dive Ball as well, just to search our deck for a water Pokemon, put it into our hand. Just because in these evolution decks, we want to get down multiple of our basics, just in case one gets knocked out or something like that. So I felt like it'd be good to have some extra search cards in here. Then next up, we have the new super hyped Aqua Patch card. So it's just like the old Dark Patch back from Dark Explorers, but this time it's for water energy. So you get to attach a water energy out of your discard to one of your benched water Pokemon. So the obvious synergy, like I said, is with our Ninetales. We're discarding our energy to attack, so we need a way to efficiently recycle those throughout the course of the game. So that's where we're playing that guy. And then also playing 2 Choice Band. This is going to be another new card from Guardians Rising. It's a tool card. Whatever Pokemon it's attached to, their attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's EX and GX. So again, this is kind of good to help our Ninetales hit for the magic numbers needed to knock out certain Pokemon. It'll boost our damage for its attack up to 190, which is pretty good. That'll knock out, like I said, most non-Fighting Fury belted EXs and GXs. Okay, then we're playing 1 Field Blower, yet another card from Guardians Rising, and this is going to let us discard up to 2 tool cards or stadiums in play on our side of the field or our opponent, so we can get rid of things like Garbodor's Float Stones, Fighting Fury Belts, like I was saying, to be able to knock out things with 1 hit with our Ninetales, our opponent's stadiums. So just a great new card that I love from Guardians Rising that came out. And then 1 Super Odd, shuffle 3 Pokemon or basic energy from your discard into your deck. So just a nice form of recovery. If we have to discard some Ninetales early on with a Sycamore or something like that, or some stuff gets knocked out, we can always get it back into our deck. And the last trainer card we're going to be playing is 4 Rough Seas. So once during each player's turn, that player may heal 30 from one of their, not from one, but all of their water and lightning Pokemon. So we're trying to just tank hits with our Ninetales. Between this and the Ice Path GX, we're going to make it very difficult for our opponent to efficiently take knockouts here. So if they're not going to knock us out in 1 hit, our Ninetales is probably going to go the distance and be around for a little while. So that's going to be the last trainer card. For our energy, we're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 water energy. So we're playing that many just to make sure that we can always hit them, you know, off Sycamores and Ultra Balls, and we'll always be able to have some to throw in the discard to use with the Aqua Patch. So, yeah guys, that's going to round out this idea for Ninetales GX. Another idea we almost started testing, we haven't gotten around to yet, is cutting the Wishiwashi Manaphy stuff and playing double colorless energies in Zoroark. Because Zoroark is actually a great backup attacker against things like Mega Rayquaza, and it still has the, it'll let you stand in to be able to, you know, I almost said Dark Patch, Aqua Patch onto your Ninetales. So it feels kind of a similar role as these guys. So maybe it's something you guys could test around with. But yeah, this is going to be our first draft of a Ninetales deck. Like I said, we loved hearing your comments and feedback and these types of deck profiles. So if there's anything in this list you like or dislike, let us know below in the comments. Like I said, we'd love to hear your feedback. But yeah guys, definitely stay tuned. We have a ton of Guardians Rising coverage coming up. And like I said, if you do want to see this deck in action, there will be a link to check that out as well. But as usual, guys, feel free to like and subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merchandise over at rarecandytcg.com. If you can pick up something to help support the channel, it would mean a lot to us. But with that, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you for the next one.